Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Ball Understanders podcast. And the playoffs are underway. We're almost done with the first round, and there's a lot to be had. There's a lot to be talked about, a lot of conversations to talk about. Obviously, we're going to go through every single playoff series here, give our thoughts, give our takes, give our predictions, give our wrap-ups. And so let's go ahead and start with some easy ones. Let's start with Thunder Suns. Any takeaways from that, or pretty much just a wrap?
I think we both have the same takeaway of we were expecting this to happen. I think the only conversation there really is to be had about this is with the whole foul baiting discussion.
Right.
It's annoying, but it's part of the rules. So, like, what do you want to do? I mean, I don't know. What's your take on the foul baiting?
Yeah, I mean, there was a huge eruption. I think it was game 2 about it. Didn't really hear anything after that. So, I mean, we heard this all last postseason with the Thunder. So I feel like I'm not too shocked by what happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, Devin Booker came on and got fined and everything. People get fined all the time for talking about the refs, so I'm not too shocked about what happened. And obviously, when you get belt like that, you're going to be looking for an excuse. Even though if the refs were pretty bad, they probably were favoring OKC. It's not like if they gave it, the Suns the whistle, they would win. So
Right, I'd agree. The one thing that I thought was corny from OKC was the fact that Shea went out and was talking about, I don't need it. Like, you're right. You don't need it, which is exactly why it's so annoying that you do it every single time.
Yeah, I actually never saw that. When did he say that?
I think it was game 3, if I'm not mistaken.
He was on the court. He said, "I don't need it."
Yeah, he said it on the court. Like, it was during some sort of rollout on the broadcast, and he's like, "I don't need it." And I was like, "Okay,
interesting.
We get it, bro. So quit doing it."
Right. Yeah. So Thunder advance 4-0 against the Suns. Next series we'll talk about real quick is Spurs Blazers. Interesting series. Obviously, we have the Wemby concussion in game 2. Apparently, he should have came back in game 3, but the league handled it incorrectly and delayed him coming back when he was okay to come back. Didn't really matter in the end of the day. The Spurs looked very dominant defensively. They looked very dominant offensively, getting games from key guys. Julian Champagnie showing up in a game after really having a quiet series. Not a bad series, just a quiet series. And then you're also getting that game 3 performance from the guard duo. And you're also showing some poise coming back from 2 big halftime deficits, which obviously hurts me to say. But what are some of your takeaways from
as a Spurs
the whole
fan,
thing?
that went about exactly as I would have hoped it.
Right.
I wasn't super mad about game 2. I mean, nobody goes in with the game plan expecting your star player to get concussed. And there was a blown lead in the end, but, I mean, it's kind of hard not to get rattled when somebody like Wemby goes down. So, I'm not super upset with it. And I got to go to game 5. That was sick as fuck, and that wouldn't have happened without it. So,
Yeah, there you go.
So but the series did go really well. I was pretty happy. Like you said, a bunch of guys stepped up, and it wasn't just I personally knew Wemby was going to be a riser. Like, I didn't think he was going to have any problems in the highest stakes games. I was a little concerned about some of the other players, but I mean, you had guys like that Dylan Harper game was unreal. Castle in that game too also had 33.
Yeah, both went off.
De'Aaron Fox had 2 games on his own where he played really, really well. In Game 5, they were basically decoying Wemby the entire game. Like, Wemby really didn't even get the ball in his hands that often.
Yeah, or Fox was cooking.
Yeah. So it really went about as well as Spurs fans could have hoped.
One thing I will say about the Spurs that going into a series, I was shocked is how well Mitch Johnson did.
Yeah.
Considering the Blazers matchup. So I actually, probably a little biased. I thought that the Blazers kind of had a good matchup with the Spurs considering the size. We have one of the tallest teams in the NBA, and I think we're one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA. So I thought, that would kind of be good against Wemby. That would be good against, paint runners like Fox, Castle, and Harper. And Mitch Johnson had a great game plan to kind of get the taller players out of the game, which was on offense, basically doing everything to get a switch on the least mobile defender, whether that was Rob Will or Klingon, and kind of just put them in an ISO situation where there's going to be a help and kick.
Yeah.
And that happened so many times. And you could see that one coach was adjusting and the other coach was not adjusting. And Tiago had disaster class of a series, blowing 2 leads at halftime. Going into halftime that they're going to make adjustments, so you have to make adjustments to the adjustments, and literally no adjustments were made in both of those games where we had the lead. And that's just coaching diff, honestly.
Yeah, I thought Rob Will did a decent job too on those switches. Klingon had a pretty rough time.
He had a rough series, and I'm not going to blame Klingon for that. That's his play style, is being a big and an offensive rebounder and, a paint beast. And he was taken out of the paint by the opposing coach.
Yeah.
And our coach made no adjustments to stop it. And he also made no adjustments. It was almost like, everything went so well in the first half, we don't need to make an adjustment for the second half.
Keep playing our game.
Yeah, and that proved wrong. Also, little side note, obviously not playing players like Shaden when he was playing. I mean, if you look at the stats, he had a stock in every single game except for the 6-minute game. He was shooting decently, not a great efficient, but I mean, he's a rhythm player, and when he's not getting minutes, you're not getting rhythm. And he's a 20-point per game scorer, and he's not getting any minutes, was kind of crazy to me. And especially I think it was the game where Scoot had 0 was either 3 or 4.
That's 4.
Just electing to keep Scoot in the game when you have Shaden on the bench is just insane.
Yeah.
Overall, these are just little nitpicky things. I don't really think it would have mattered in the grand scheme of things. I still think Spurs dominate the series regardless. They have, the better player, the better top player. They have multiple all-stars, and I'm excited to see them in the second round. Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I got one more thing. I thought the reffing was a little interesting, like this whole series, because to me it seemed like they've let the first half go quite a bit. Like, it was pretty physical. They weren't calling a ton of stuff. And then right after halftime, whichever team was down started getting an enormous amount of whistles. I don't know if
I
you
noticed
saw that too. But it happened when the Spurs were down, like in those big games. Like, they started calling a bunch of stuff, and Spurs started making their way back. In Game 5, it wasn't really one-sided in Game 5, but it was like a total switch of the whistle. As soon as they came out from halftime, the game just screeched to a halt. That was just kind of interesting.
I did notice that, yeah.
I don't know if that's something that's going to keep happening or what that was about, but just something to note.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. So, yeah, great showing from the Spurs. The Blazers seeing a lot of things that they probably have to fix. And, going against a 60-win team as a 40-win team is never, a recipe for success. But next, we'll talk about another series that wrapped up today, which was Knicks versus Hawks. You want to start us off with anything?
You were right about the Hawks being garbage. I had a little bit of belief in the Hawks, not a lot. I didn't necessarily think they were going to win this series. I wasn't surprised when they put up a fight for 2 games. I was surprised at how bad they were today. That was crazy. And then, getting into a fight down 50 in the second quarter, like 5-0.
Yeah, that's
50.
Ridiculous. I couldn't
wild.
believe my eyes when I saw 72-22.
In the second
quarter.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe my eyes.
That was unreal.
Yeah, I never believed in that, in the 2-1 lead the Hawks had. It just seemed kind of fake to me. When you have CJ McCollum, going off, it's like, it's a little different. If that was Jalen Johnson, I'd be like, this is kind of scary.
Yeah.
But since it's CJ, I was like, this isn't going to last all series. And also I've watched CJ my whole life. So I kind of knew that he only has 1 or 2 games like that usually in a series, especially he's out of his prime now. So it's I knew this wasn't anything.
Yeah.
The only thing I was worried about with the Knicks was the Brunson defense, which Mike Brown made a good adjustment for in the second half of the series.
So I got a question for you now. Are they the best team in the East now?
I don't know. I would say if you put a gun to my head, I would pick them to make the finals. They're just, in my opinion, I've never believed in the Knicks.
Yeah.
So even back when, always, they've never moved me. The whole Mikal deal, the whole Cat deal, I'm not moved. Their bench is decent, but I mean it's like Deuce and Mitchell Robinson and Landry Shamet and Jordan Clarkson. It's like that's not very deep. You're not going to really get that much out of them in a real finals. I mean the East is so bad.
Yeah, I think they've just in prime position this year. Like they didn't really improve at all from last year when they lost to the Celtics.
If they don't make the finals this year, they're not. It's over.
Yeah,
they're not making it next year. And I think Knicks fans know that. I think Knicks fans are like, this is our year because, they're playing the winner of Celtics Sixers Game 7 next, series, and who knows who's going to win that game. But back to Knicks Hawks. Cat's been amazing, which is honestly not too surprising to me. He's always been, pretty consistent. Not shooting as many threes as I expected, but he has kind of stopped shooting a lot of threes. For the Hawks moving forward, do they run this team back? Do they make trades?
My big question mark on that team is honestly CJ.
Well, yeah, I mean he's a vet, so it's like, what are you going to do?
That's what I'm thinking is, do you keep him on as a vet or do you just start to turn to the young guys?
I think, you got some good young guys to turn to. I mean, I'm looking at Jalen Johnson, Kuminga.
Yeah.
You're looking at
Dyson
Alexander
Daniels.
Walker,
Yeah.
Dyson Daniels. So, I mean, interesting spot for the Hawks. I mean, obviously, Ricochet got run today, which is pretty fun. So it's like, they're going in. I don't think they have their pick next year or this year.
No, we have it. Spurs have it on a pick swap.
So no picks for them. They're probably just going to be in purgatory for a couple years. Hawks fans.
They really need a center, right?
They got they do. They have Onyeka Okongwu, who's a solid backup. It would be good for them to get some sort of center. I don't really see them making like a big splash trade unless they trade CJ for somebody. But moving on with the Knicks. I mean, I don't believe in this team. They can make I believe in them enough to make the finals. They are going to get pummeled in the finals no matter who it is, in my opinion. But next, I guess the only other series that's wrapped to talk about is Nuggets Wolves, which just wrapped tonight. I'm one of the only people I think in our group chat that had the Wolves in 6. And everyone, I don't know what you said. I don't think you said anything. But
I honestly did not know what was going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think you committed to a stance. But a lot of people had Nuggets coming back in 7. I just did not believe that would happen
I think I said Wolves in 7. I thought
Wolves in 7.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to get one game and then the Wolves were going to get some guy to go off in Game 7 and close it.
Yeah. What are your? I mean, talk to me
from the Nuggets.
Talk to me about the Nuggets, man.
Pretty shocking. I mean, what excuse do they have anymore? I mean, this team was better than last year. If you look at just talent, they struggled all year. They found it towards the end of the season. Went on a 12-game win streak to close the year, and just lost it again.
I think
Jokic kind of got owned by Rudy.
This is what I was about to get into. I think the Nuggets are the Wolves might be the worst matchup for them. Like, I think that they might match up against like the Thunder better than the Wolves just because
of Rudy.
Well, Rudy, Randall, Naz Reid. I mean, you just got a bunch of big guys you can put in there to guard Jokic, and then you have Jaden McDaniels who can, fly around the court. You have Anthony Edwards, who didn't really play, but he's, an elite defender as well. And so it's like, and then you also had Dante. It's just like Dante go down, but when he's on the court, it's like that's another, defensive factor.
Yeah.
It's a bad matchup for the Nuggets. When the Nuggets were at the peak of their powers in 2024 after that ring, they still lost to this team in Game 7, and they blew like a huge lead. So I personally am shocked about how horrible that they played, but I'm not necessarily shocked that the Wolves won the series in hindsight. If you would have told me that Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo and Ayo Dosunmu would miss a game and they would still win the series, I'd be like, what the hell is going on?
I mean, they had 3 starters out, 4 players out.
Right.
And all of them scored in double digits, and you still lost. I mean, but McDaniels, I guess, said it best. They don't have good defenders.
Jamal Murray was getting attacked at the end of the game. I mean, Terrence Shannon Jr., Jaden everyone was going at him, and there was nothing he could do. I mean, this is something that they're exposing. So like maybe next year the Nuggets are even worse because people are like, oh, in the regular season we'll just ISO Jamal Murray every play because that's the scouting report. I guess we don't really have to think about it.
Too. He had like 10 points.
And he was
what,
the thing
8
the thing
for
about
16?
the thing that shocks me about him. Yeah, the thing that shocks me about him is over his career he's been known as kind of a regular season coaster and then a playoff riser.
Yeah.
And then this year he had a better regular season and then fell off in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I'm almost certain this next regular season he is not going to be trying. Because like
playoffs, he's going to reverse it again.
Yeah, well, look what happened.
Yeah.
You know, he was an all-star this year, and he went out every game trying to put up 30, and then playoff time, he was ass.
Yeah.
So, talking about the Wolves, props to them. We just talked in the group chat about, you know, them making the playoffs every year since 2022. Obviously, first series that they had was against the Grizzlies, who were the 2 seed. You know, tough one to win. They did not win. Then next year, you know, play the champion Nuggets in the first round, go down in 5, and then conference finals
Yeah.
with 2 different teams, one with Cat, one with Jew. And so it's like, man, this is
The team is like a playoff.
this is
riser.
kind of a franchise
Yeah.
now. So
They
it's
really
like,
are.
you know, 5, what is it? That's 5, 5 straight playoff appearances, 3 straight with a series win at least. Good reps here for the Wolves. As far as the Nuggets go, huge hit to the Jokic legacy. Let's talk about the Jokic legacy.
Yeah, that's a rough one. I mean, he was on the upward trend. People were talking about uncomfortable conversations that they were putting him in. I mean, even at the beginning of this year, people were talking about that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I got
Bad.
nothing.
Bad. I think
Just bad.
this is, I mean, every if you talk about, you know, when you're talking about all-time greats all have stinkers. You know,
True.
LeBron had 2011 in the finals. You know, Curry blew a 3-1 lead. You know, you have MJ never being able to beat the Celtics early on in his career. It's like everyone has that, and the Jokic's kryptonite might just be the Wolves, man.
Yeah,
like he
it
just
really
might
might.
never be able to get past this team.
Yeah, it just might be that kind of thing, like you said.
And I'm shocked that they beat the Spurs in Game 82 to take the Wolves.
I know, yeah. I was just thinking about that too, because honestly, I think we went. I mean, Mason Plumlee started that game for the Spurs, so it was pretty obvious that we didn't really care who we played.
It didn't matter. You guys were locked as a 2 seed.
Well, yeah, but we
Yeah.
were looking forward towards second round because if they won, they would have
Oh,
played. They would have had the Thunder in the second round.
Yeah,
So we actually had some incentive to beat them because then we would have matched up with, I believe, Wolves or Rockets in the second
At the
round.
time,
And we
yeah.
would have, at the time, we would have preferred that. Now, I
Yeah.
don't even know. Maybe that would have been better.
who knows? But yeah, that's Wolves. Nuggets. Wolves. Nuggets going out for the first round for the first time since Jokic's second MVP, right? Because they lost in the first round against the Warriors, and then they won the chip. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is their first round exit since 2022. So it's been 4 years, first round exit. You know, it's a rough showing for the Nuggets. I'm excited to see what they do in the offseason. I don't think they'll do much. I think they're just going to try to
I
run it
think
back.
that's the biggest question on Jokic's legacy is what happens next.
I mean, I think
some
if you
kind of
say
change.
that, like, you know, he's done, like, blah, 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 you're crazy, like, it's Jokic.
Oh, no,
He's
no.
gonna-
I don't think that. I think Jokic
No, I
is
know
still
you're
gonna
not.
play
I'm
some
just
seasons.
saying for people, I think he's going to be back. He's going to be in the playoffs next year. I think they're going to try, at the end of the season, they're going to be doing some tap dancing around the standings to avoid the Wolves. I promise you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end. That's all the series that are finished. Let's talk first before we get into kind of the more intense series. Let's talk about Cavs Raptors.
Sure.
Cavs Raptors. What you got? Anything on that? I really don't have much
I don't
besides
either.
Scotty
Fun
Barnes.
series.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, but yeah, Scotty Barnes has been playing really well.
great series from Scotty Barnes. You know, they kind of blew a lead in Game 5. They had the Raptors. They had a looks like a 12-point lead right before the fourth quarter. Blows it. Cavs take control. Are you moved by this Cavs team against the Knicks or anything like that?
Not really. Who does this plays winner of Magic?
Pistons Magic.
Pistons, yeah.
I guess we'll just talk about Pistons Magic because Harden also having an all-time stinker, having more turnovers than field goals in multiple games in the series.
We talked about that as soon as it happened. As soon as the Harden trade happened, we were like, we're not moved by him in the playoffs.
Nope, never have been, never will, especially now. All right, let's talk about Pistons Magic. Absolute cinema game number 5 with Paolo and Cade
Both
trading
on
buckets.
45. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that matchup?
I part of it is the Pistons. I mean, we kind of talked about it. The Pistons, it has to be Cade. Like that's the only way that they're going to score. That's the only way their offense runs. I mean, you got Jenkins as like your second on-ball guy because Duren is good, but Duren needs somebody else with the ball. He cannot ISO. He can't play offense on his own.
No.
So if Cade's not in the game, then it's Jenkins, and I mean
He's a two-way.
Yeah, I mean. He's good. I mean, he's had some games where he's.
You got Tobias Harris. You got Careless Pervert. You know.
Yeah, but the offense just doesn't flow. Like it
doesn't.
And I think it's a really bad matchup for them with a bunch of big defenders in Orlando.
I have the Pistons. I have the Pistons solved for next year. They should either trade for CJ.
Okay.
Or Kawhi Leonard. I think that's what they need. I mean, you need someone to help Cade.
Somebody else, yeah.
But realistically, Franz out. Do you see the Magic closing this, or do you see the Pistons?
Yeah,
coming back?
I kind of think it's 3-2 now, right?
It's 3-2. We're going to Orlando for
Orlando.
Game 6.
I honestly could just see exactly what happened tonight, the same way.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I personally think if anyone's going to come back, it's going to be the Pistons here. Out of all the series that are left, I think the Pistons have the best shot to do it. You have Cade, who's, I mean, I'm looking at the box score here of Game 5, and I mean, you're getting 19 from Anthony Black, and you're not winning the game. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think if they do manage to pull it out, it's gonna have to be because somebody locks up Cade. Like that's
good luck.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be the solution. I mean, I think that's the only way that it happens.
Yeah.
But
I think
Cade
Pistons come back 3-1. That's my early prediction. I mean, I was high on the Pistons early, and so I have to kind of,
you have to stand by a little bit.
But like, I think that they could do it. I think if they win Game 6, they win Game 7. I would say one thing I will say is Paolo is kind of silencing the Paolo haters.
Yeah, I would.
He had a lot of haters at the end of the season.
A lot of haters, yeah. He had a lot of haters. Or you're talking about the end of this season? He really had them throughout the year. I mean, people were shitting on all year long.
He did, and he's showing up right now. I mean, they were up 3-1, and in a winner in a series clinching game, he drops 45, 9, and 7 on 54% shooting. It's 6 for 11 from 3, so 62% true shooting. Yeah, he had 6 turnovers, but he had the ball the whole game, and he played 41 minutes. So, Paolo is kind of. It's just fun seeing like Paolo versus Cade, like 21 number 1 overall pick, 22 number 1 overall pick, kind of battling.
It's good hoops.
It's great hoops. And the Magic have been in the playoffs now 3 straight years, and they haven't really done anything with it. So
and I personally was relatively, I'm not super high, but relatively high on the Magic. I thought they were going to be pretty good this year. I thought that the Bane, I mean, they gave up a lot for him picks wise, but I thought that he was a good pickup. They needed a lot of spacing, and they got it with Bane.
Yeah.
And they really, kind of similar to the Nuggets, they just hadn't really clicked throughout the year. And it looked like really it was the Charlotte game that got them going. They beat the hell out of Charlotte.
Yeah, they beat them bad.
And they've been playing pretty well ever since.
Yeah, I love the Magic. I love Paolo. Yeah, I think Paolo's great. I hope he can win a series one day. Maybe it's this one. He lost in Game 7 in his second year, whatever that was, or his third year, against the Cavs, and then last year gets matched up with the Celtics. So hopefully Paolo can get something going. Now we have 2 series left to discuss that are pretty ridiculous. What's going on? I guess we'll start with Celtics Sixers. Wow.
Yeah.
3-1 lead for the Celtics, two
Yeah.
chances to close it out, and appendicitis Embiid is back.
Yeah, appendicitis and B dropping 33. That's
Yeah.
pretty crazy stuff.
And tonight dropping near triple-double.
Yeah.
So what are your takes on the Celtics?
I mean, I don't know. I was pretty high on them. I thought they would put themselves in a great spot, up 3-1. I thought it was going to be a pretty easy close. Like, I thought their series I thought their series was going to be relatively similar to the Spurs and the Blazers, and then their offense just slowed to a halt. I mean, it's 2 games in a row where they never even scored 100.
So I have the reason why the Celtics are bad. I saw this on Twitter. A Celtics fan tweeted out and was talking about a player that has regressed dramatically and is not getting the hate he deserves, and he's the reason why the Celtics are losing this series.
Is that Derek White?
It's Derek White. Looking at Derek White's last couple games, he's shooting horrible from 3. I think it's sub 25%.
Yeah.
Game 1, 4 for 10, 2 for 7. Game 2, 3 for 12, 2 for 10. Next game, 3 for 12, 1 for 8. Next game, 2 for 5, 2 for 4. Next game, 2 for 8, 0 for 4. Then tonight, 3 for 8, 3 for 6 from 3, but benched in the entire fourth quarter. Did not play a minute in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And if you remember, let's just, rewind 2 years, maybe even 3 years. Thinking back to those Celtics teams, bro, Derek White was huge for them.
Yeah, he was.
So maybe this is just when you lose Derek White, this is just kind of what happens when he becomes
he is the glue guy on that team. Like, he's the one that, gels that team together. I mean, the whole team has been shooting bad. The last 2 games, they've been shooting under 30% from 3. And that's their identity. I mean, that's what they do is they shoot threes. So that's been huge. I haven't been able to watch the last 2 games. I didn't think I needed to be honest. So I don't know if
shouldn't need to.
The Sixers were just playing good defense on the perimeter and it's just working for them. I don't know. Pretty crazy stuff.
And the thing for me is, most teams, when you have a role player like that kind of shitting the bed, you get your stars to step up, but Tatum and Brown have not been stepping up. I'm not going to be, as critical on Tatum just because of the whole Achilles. He came back really early, and I'm not, props to him for even being on the court.
Yeah.
But then you have Jaylen Brown, the last 2 games shooting 9 for 23 and then 7 for 17.
Yeah, with 18 points in this last one.
And 5 turnovers. So, bad showing from Jaylen Brown. Great showing from the Sixers. Props to them. I could see them winning in Game 7, honestly, at this point.
I could too.
What do you think would happen if it's Sixers Knicks? What are your predictions for that?
I don't know. Celtics have kind of had the Knicks number, so I feel like Celtics, they could just click. If they take out this ugly series, they could just come into the next one and it's like, all right, it's the Knicks. We own the Knicks. And they kind of click and they're back together and they're like their normal thing and go through the Knicks. I think the Knicks would beat the Sixers.
I agree.
Think that's that difficult.
Still not getting an Embiid Eastern Conference Finals anytime soon, man.
Yeah, no.
But I think the Knicks would take on the Sixers, especially, they beat them, I think it was 2 years ago in that, 6 series where, Dante DiVincenzo had, that crazy 3. And, I would take the Knicks in that. But, so this is basically just, Celtics, this would be huge for them. I actually think Knicks-Celtics second round could be closer than we think.
I think it could be close, too. I thought, especially now after seeing these last 2 games.
I think, off right now, I would probably still take the Celtics, but
I think I would too.
It's like that's that could change in a day, realistically.
Well, and another thing with the Knicks, we've been saying this all postseason, is you just don't know what you're going to get from them on any given night. Like they could do what they did today and beat you by 50, or they could, miss every single three and
Yeah.
just have a really.
And I mean,
stale
we did see the Knicks go up 2-0 on the Celtics last year before the Tatum injury in the playoffs. So like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like right now I can't really give an answer. Maybe actually you have the edge to the Knicks. I don't know. Okay, but last series to talk about, probably the series that has the potential to have the craziest headlines is Lakers-Rockets. Obviously, Lakers go up 3-0. The discourse on Twitter was insane about the Rockets. I mean, I've never seen more hate on a team ever.
The Şengün edits were killing me.
Şengün edits. KD's burner was right. All these people were saying. Kenny Beecham made a whole video shitting on them.
Yeah.
And, they come out in a 3-0 game 4 in Houston and, get a pretty good, I think, let me check that game. I think they won by the 20. And then going back to LA for a game 5, they hold a lead in the fourth quarter, which is big for them.
Great closeout game by Reed Shepherd.
Yeah, Reed Shepherd gets bumped by LeBron and turns up. And so, you have a Rockets team that's going into a game 6 back in Houston. And Reeves is back, but he did not play good. He shot good from the line, but other than that, pretty poor from the field. His defense is not something that you want to add to the team.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how this goes, but I am a little nervous about the Lakers blowing this 3-0 lead.
I think if there was a team in the playoffs to do it, it's the Lakers, just based off of all the injury stuff that's happening. And, I mean, their team isn't really built for really any kind of winning right now. I mean, they've had like there's little stretches, but then they lost Luka, and so it's just they're in a weird spot. Likely moving off of LeBron next year too, whether he retires, whether he goes.
I think he's going to go to Cleveland. Probably.
So you think he's staying now?
No, I think LeBron's going to Cleveland
well, that's what I mean, but like staying in the league. I thought that you thought he was going to retire.
I do think that's more likely than him going to Cleveland. Yeah, but if he stays in the league, I think he's going to Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
I don't know. It's another thing where the last 2 games they started shooting really badly. It's pretty similar to the Celtics.
It's just scary because like if LeBron blows a 3-0 lead, dude, like.
Bad.
My brain is telling me my heart is telling me like, oh, he's 41, like nothing at this point can tarnish his legacy, like you're literally 41. And then my brain is like, dude, if you're the only player in NBA history to blow a 3-0 lead.
Yeah.
Like I'm never going to be able to.
That's the wrong side of history.
I'm never, like us LeBron fans will never be able to really make a GOAT case again. I'm just going to be honest. Because every single time you try to make a GOAT case, they're just going to say LeBron blew a 3-0 lead to the Baby Rockets without KD. That's what they're going to say. So it's like, and then you could say you don't have Luka, and they're just going to say their best player was Şengün. And then you're just like sitting there like with your thumb up your ass, like, damn, like LeBron, like, yeah, he's 41, but like you're up 3-0. Like,
yeah.
And they're all teams all time are 0-160.
Yeah.
And ever since, no one ever talked about this, by the way. We all watched the NBA. No one talked about this until the Celtics Heat series in 2023. This was never talked about until the Celtics Heat 2023 Eastern Conference Finals when the Heat were up 3-0 and almost blew a 3-0 lead and it went to Game 7. And they were showing the graphic every single game. They were showing the graphic. And now whenever a series is 3-0, they show the graphic.
Yeah.
And it's like, we never talked about
really
this.
Thought possible, I think, is what it was. I mean,
I think the only other time it was brought up was like the Sixers were up 3-0 in like 2021 with Embiid and Simmons, and like the other team won like one game, and they're like, oh, like this is the stat, and like everyone was like, who cares? But now it's like it's a thing.
Yeah, I will say I'm not super concerned about the Lakers. I honestly just think they're one average shooting night away. I
don't know, man.
I think I mean the Rockets play style is very paint centered, and if you can't space the floor, then they're gonna own you in the paint. And I think if you get one average shooting night where they can space the floor like the first 3 games, I think they'll be okay.
Can I explain why I'm worried?
Sure.
Okay, so game 1, the Lakers win. They shoot 52% from three,
Yeah.
and they win by 9. Okay?
Okay.
Next game, they win game 2. They shoot 46% from three, and they win by 7. And you see Smart went 5 for 7 from three. Luke Kennard, 3 for 6. Hachimura, 3 for 6. And the Rockets shot 24% from three, and they lost by 7. Next game, game 3. The second game ever where a lead of
that
6
game
with
3
30
was
seconds left
insane.
is blown. The only other time this lead of that caliber and that time was blown was last year, Knicks Pacers, when Nesmith had a billion threes in the last minute of the game. So those 3 games that they won, you can point to 3 things that are kind of lucky.
Sure.
And so
yeah.
then you go into game 4, the closeout game, the first one, and the Lakers shoot 22% from 3 and the Rockets shoot 40% from 3, but instead of winning by single digits like the Lakers did, the Rockets win by 20. So then you're like, okay, now we're going into game 5 where LeBron has never lost a closeout game at home ever in his entire career. And the Rockets shoot a league average 35% from 3, and the Lakers shoot 25% from 3. So I don't know if an average shooting night is going to get it done. After talking about that. So that's why I'm scared.
I see your point.
I think in order for the Lakers to win, they need to get lucky. Like they did in the first 3 games.
So you think the Rockets are just the better team?
I do.
Yeah.
I picked them to win the series.
Yeah, I think I did too at the beginning, actually. I was pretty shocked by the Lakers.
Yeah, if I made my bracket, I had Thunder, Nuggets, which they lost, Spurs, and Rockets.
Yeah.
Like in my official bracket. Obviously in my heart bracket, I would never pick the Spurs. But in the official bracket, I had the Spurs. And then, you know, I think a lot of people had the Rockets. And me and you could go back and watch all the pods, and you can see that we thought that if it was Lakers Rockets, like this was going to be like trash hoops, and it kind of is.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, and we were saying like both these teams are first round exits to any other teams in the league.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't know. Like I think
I
if
mean,
anyone's
it is setting up for if there was ever a series to come back from 3-0, it's this one.
And that's what like I 100% agree with you. Like I was about to say the same exact thing, but they were also saying the same thing in the Celtics Heat series. Because they were like, oh, the Heat are an 8 seed and the Celtics are the 1 seed or whatever.
Yeah.
Or not the 1 seed, they're like the 2 seed or whatever. So I think that this is a little different though, because that Heat team had like Jimmy Butler and, you know, they had Bam Adebayo and they have like legit players on the team. And then the Lakers are like Marcus Smart, Hachimura, Luke Kennard, like
Random dudes and then
randoms. Like DeAndre Ayton is their center. Like it's a lot different from Bam Adebayo, and you know 41-year-old Braun is a lot different than prime Jimmy. So it's like that's kind of where you're at. So I think wrapping up the last series, I think if I had to make a stance today, I'm picking Rockets in 7, man.
Still 2 games to go.
Just saying.
And it ended LA. Oh, I don't know. That's tough.
Dude, should I go to Game 7 if there's a Game 7?
You should go to Game 7 if it comes back.
Bro, the tickets are $400 though.
Damn. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
But I could afford it. I could go. Fuck it. I don't know.
That's a crazy expense for a team that you don't care about.
The first ever 3-0 blown lead.
Oh, that is true. You could say you were there for that. You could say you
Yeah.
were there for the tarnishing of LeBron's legacy.
Yeah, it's not that I could just like literally get an Uber there like in the morning and then just hang out in DTLA until
I saw a
until
tweet
game
that
time.
was like, if y'all really think that Silver is going to let LeBron have this on his legacy, you're very mistaken. This is going to be the most rigged Game 7 of all time.
if there's a Game 7. Bro, they did that to the Rockets a couple like almost 10 years ago. 27 straight missed
the
threes.
Warriors.
Harden had like a wide open 3 and then Clay like hit him in the body and there was no call, and then like Eric Gordon had a 3 like this and Steph Curry like hit him like this and there was no call and everyone's like, what? And then the Currys and then the Warriors won. So it might be coming.
It's coming.
That would be crazy to be at the. I might get tickets to the game. I'm not gonna lie. I just one ticket because not jumping 400 or 800 on 2 tickets. But yeah, we're gonna do another pod after the first round is over.
Yep.
And we'll be talking about the second round. So that's why we're not talking about like Spurs Wolves or anything like that, because we're gonna be saving that for the next time. We'll wrap up talking about Lakers, Rockets, Celtics, Sixers, Cavs, Raptors, Pistons, Magic, and then we'll get into the second round for next pod. But thank you guys all for watching, and we're going to try to get more pods out in the playoffs, and I appreciate y'all.